All right, Miles, let's move on to Florida State. This is a team that kind of sneakily creeped back into the top 15, top 10, top 20 landscape of college football. 9-3 this past season. Strong finish to the season, beating their arch rival Florida. They actually beat LSU week one. That's looking like one of the bigger wins of the season, ACC over SEC. But this is a Florida State team. They've not just had one good year, they're trending in the right direction. And I know you've got a report from the transfer portal that is proof of that this team is just getting better and better and better. Before I hand it over to you, Mize, we want to hear from Seminoles fans in the comment section below. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of big wins this season for Florida State. Give us the moment you were most proud of during this season, whether it was that week one win over LSU, taking care of business against Florida. Let us know the moment you were most proud of to be a Florida State Seminole fan in the comment section below. But Miles, give us the latest out of Tallahassee.
Yeah, Nick, I think Florida State fans need to be put on notice for this huge transfer that just walked through the door from none other than the South Carolina Gamecocks, Nick. And that is, I guess you can kind of call him a tight end, but he's just an all-around playmaker. Jaheim Bell from the Gamecocks has transferred over to Florida State. And Nick, this is a big deal. You know, I am not the most up-to-date on Florida State football. I will tell you that to start off, but I am very up-to-date on South Carolina football, being a South Carolina native. But I do pay attention to Florida State, so I know a lot of stuff about them. But Jaheim Bell, Nick, I have watched him play all year long, and this guy is a stud. Florida State has themselves a huge, big-time playmaker coming in. This guy caught 25 catches last year for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 73 times for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's just a big guy. He could run the ball. He can catch the ball. He reminds me of another guy that came from South Carolina that can do both, like a Deebo Samuel, but even bigger kind of guy, Nick. He's 6'3", 230, coming out of Florida. He's a big-time playmaker, and I think this Florida State team is going to really like having a versatile Swiss Army knife guy like Jaheim Bell. What do you think about this move, Nick?
Oh, I think it's a great move. Anytime you get one of these dynamic playmakers to pair with a guy like Jordan Travis at quarterback, I think it's the 100% right move. And, Travis, by all reports, is coming back to Florida State. He says he's got unfinished business. But here's one interesting thing that Travis said, according to Noel Game Day, talking about the transfer portal. He said, quote, "We have a couple surprises coming in, so we'll see that soon for sure." This was before the news of the Bell transferring from South Carolina and Florida State broke. What that tells me, Mize, is Travis is out there recruiting. He's out there leading the charge. He's out there hitting the road, hitting the bricks, finding guys he wants to play with, along with, of course, the Florida State recruiting staff and all that. They're obviously involved in the game too. But I love that from a quarterback, especially going to a senior, getting on the phone, getting on Instagram, getting on the Snap Face or the Tick Chat or whatever whatever the kids use these days, finding a way to get players in the building to make them even better, to take that next step and potentially and hopefully dethrone Clemson out of the top of the ACC. And I really love the momentum and the energy behind this Florida State program right now. I think a lot of that is credited to Jordan Travis personally.
Yeah, Nick, that's a really good point. And there's some other guys from South Carolina that maybe Travis has been trying to lure over. Running back Marshawn Lloyd has left, so he's out there. He's a big player. Maybe he's looking to follow his teammate over there. You never know. But, Nick, South Carolina, quite frankly, has been able to produce some really high-end, tight-end talent. So getting a guy like Bell is, a really big steal. You look at guys they've produced in the past. You look at Hayden Hurst. You look at Jared Cook. And the guy that they also had, Austin Stogner, transferred back to Oklahoma as well. So there's a lot of really big playmaker tight ends from South Carolina. So a team that produces a lot of good talent, sending one down to Florida State. I think the Seminoles are going to have a really good playmaker. I'm going to be watching all season because I want to see how Jaheim Bell does. Because I think this is a guy who, if he keeps stringing together these really gadgety, top-tier playmaker type seasons, Nick, he's going to be a guy we're going to see his name called on Sunday a few times if he keeps up this level of play.